Hello.
Okay. Hi. We're just getting started.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody, if you're not speaking, please keep yourself on mute. If you want to say something, then you can raise your hand through Zoom or maybe just wave at the camera or something like that. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining the celebration of Boris Berenshtein. Boris had a long, full life, touched many people and made many friends, but few as close as the ones here today. Thank you also to our family from all its many sides, whose immigrant paths have much in common. While the occasion today is sad in that Boris is not here anymore, it is also a celebration and a recognition of a life well lived. As his last act, Boris has brought us all together, albeit not in person, to share some of the memories, rediscover old friends, and hopefully make some new ones as well. So let me share my screen actually here so that you can all see this. 1 second. Let's try desktop. Okay, can you all see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So our agenda today. So first I'll welcome everybody, which is what I'm doing right now. We will then hear from Ilya a poem called The Train of Life. I sent around a translation of this poem. He will read it in Russian, but I sent around a translation of this poem. But while he's reading it, I will project onto the screen the English translation, okay? This is a poem about life's many stops and turns. Okay, so then we will have a short film where we will hear from Boris himself about his journey to America and the love of his life. I'll then say a few words, my own reflections on Boris. My brother, Vadik, or Edward, will also speak about his reflections. We will then listen to a poem by Luda Glebova. She's an old friend of my father, and she wrote it for this occasion. Again, I will read it in Russian, but there's an English translation that I sent. And on the screen while I read it, I think you will also see the English translation. We will then hear from Nina Alyoshina. So Nina was Boris's companion after my mother died. Okay, so they lived together for about 1.5 years, and in the end, she was also his caregiver. Yeah. And then towards the end, because we have so many people on this Zoom call, and because these are different circles of people, I thought it would be really nice for people to just quickly introduce themselves. If somebody feels like saying something, please do. That's the right time to do that. I will call on you when the time comes, okay? So just to keep things organized, so not everybody speaks all at once. And then we will close with a photo montage and anything else that comes up. So like I said earlier, I'm recording. If anybody has any concerns about that, please let me know. And also, one last time, for logistics, keep your Zoom on mute if you're not speaking. If you do want to speak, you can raise your hand in Zoom or just wave at the camera. My wife Sabrina and Milana actually also are monitoring Zoom, so they'll let me know if somebody wants to say something. And then when we do the introductions at the end, I will just call on you and I'll go down the list of people. Okay, so here is a poem. Ilya, if you can please read us about this, the train of life.
Окей, Макс, я сейчас выступаю, как я понимаю, но моя скрин не... Окей, вы слышите меня все?
Все слышим.
Окей, Макс захотел, чтобы я прочел эту поэму, которая очень случайно оказалась у меня на интернете, на скрин. Я извиняюсь за свою pronunciation, у меня по литературе всегда была 3. Но я прочту очень трогательная поэма. Называется «Поезд жизни». Несет нас поезд жизни в никуда, а в общем-то и даже ниоткуда. Летят недели, месяцы, года, и не узнать, доедем мы докуда. Промчались остановку детский сад. И где-то в прошлом остановка школа, когда конфетки и мороженки был рад, и лимонад был лучше пепси-колы. Промчались остановку институт. Любовные интриги, стройотряды, хоть и не у всех через нее маршрут, но возрасту тому все были рады. Доехали до станции «Любовь». Проехали станцию «Разлука». Кипит адреналин, играет кровь. Но были станции отчаяние и скука. На станции «Семья» на тормозах остановился поезд наш надолго. У многих слезы счастья на глазах, а у кого-то просто чувство долга. Одни судьбу свою благодарят и не желают в жизни перемен. Другие о свободе говорят, сойдут они на станции измена. И поезд не меняет свой маршрут. Всю жизнь свою из окон его видим. Кто дальше едет, кто-то сходит тут, но в результате все из него выйдем. Посадим мы в него своих детей. У поезда нет станции конечной. Его маршрут до самых первых дней, наверное, до полустанка вечность. Никто не знает наперед, кого и с кем судьба сведет, кто будет друг, кто будет враг, а кто знакомый просто так. Кто осчастливит, кто предаст, кто отберет, кто все отдаст. Кто пожалеет дел и слов, и кто разделит хлеб и кров. С кем можно все до простоты, а с кем и не рискнешь на «ты». Кому-то сердце распахнешь, а перед кем-то дверь замкнешь. Кого-то веришь, как в себя, в кого-то веришь, как в себя, кого-то терпишь, не любя. С одними в горе хоть куда, с другим и в радости беда. Никто не знает наперед, что нас на белом свете ждет. Кого блистательный успех, кого позор за тяжкий грех. Всю жизнь везение одним, боль и страдания другим. Одним за правду вечный бой, другим и ложь сама собой. Так и живем мы на земле, и в благодетели, и в зле. Грешим на молодость порой, на обстоятельства и строй. Чужим ошибки счет ведем, и лишь своих не признаем. Друзей обидеть норовим, и непростительно язвим. Молчим, когда пора кричать, кричим, где надо бы молчать, святынями не дорожим, а перед серостью дрожим. Лелеем собственное «я», то обвиняя, то кляня, исходим в вечной суете. Глядишь, и мы уже не те. Никто не знает наперед, к чему все это приведет. А жизнь уходит между тем, частично или насовсем.
Спасибо, спасибо, Илья.
Который
Сейчас.
Максу понравился, и я попытался вам донести. Промою свою горлышко.
Благодарю. Hey everyone, I have to let somebody into the Zoom, so bear with me for one moment. I have to figure out how to do that. Here we go. Frida. Okay, she's about to join. Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. So now I'm going to wait for Frida to join because she will want to see this. So bear with me for 1 second. Let me make sure.
She's in.
She's in? Okay. Now
I
it says
see.
she's connecting to audio still. So So now we're gonna watch a short film. This is a film that Sabrina and I made for Henry, really, but we managed to get my father on camera speaking about his life, about my mother and how he felt about her. And so I thought this will be very interesting for everybody to see. I'm still gonna wait for a moment for Frida to connect to audio. It looks like she's still waiting.
Макс, убери schedule с экрана.
Зачем?
А как мне тогда вспомнить, что следующее?
Побольше, потому что только узкая полоска всех. И это скрин, этот schedule только тебе нужен.
Правда, надо было отпечатать заранее, но я забыл.
Так не надо отпечатать, мы же сейчас ведем. Все.
Okay. So now, вот.
Вот я и хотел здесь сделать.
Окей. Фрида, вы с нами? Вы меня слышите?
Perfect now. Владик, Кайл.
Фрида, вы нас слышите?
I think she's having audio problems on the computer. I'll have her dial in, but you can go ahead. You can move forward.
Okay, let's go ahead. So let me share my...
Hey, Max, my mom has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Helen.
I have a question. I just want to commend Ilya's poem. I thought it was beautiful. I actually had to get a tissue. That was so pretty.
Yes, it is a beautiful poem. Excuse me. What we want is QuickTime.
And Max, while we're waiting for you to get the video up, just one thing that everyone should know about this video is, you know, that our purpose in creating the video was to ensure that our families leave their legacies and that their stories get to be told in the first person. So when Max pulled out the video, it just brought back a rush of memories going through this process when Henry was only 6 months old. So it's 5.5 years ago we made this video. So hopefully you'll enjoy it.
Okay, here we go.
The way we lived was there were these massive block, actually not that big, but block buildings that were put up, 5 stories, but long.
Just to make sure, can everybody see the picture and hear the video?
Yes.
And you would put 3 of them together like this. So inside of each one, there was this area called, in Russian, it's literally the yard. And so I just remember spending a lot of time running around in there, and there was nothing there. It was like dirt, you know, not really any grass, like a little gazebo where old men would hang out and play dominoes and cards and such, but the kids just kind of made up stuff.
I decided to move to leave Russia. I just was miserable. No future for me. No future. Nothing good for me there. Besides of this, I was sick about this propaganda. TV, radio, sick about this. I couldn't listen, I couldn't see this anymore. You know, I was just, so I decided whatever happened, it would not be worse than here.
I definitely didn't want to leave. So it was funny, I think, I'm not exactly certain of these dates, but I know that we left right on around the time frame that I was supposed to become a pioneer. In the Soviet Union, kids, you know, there's a hierarchy of your commitment to the party. So you start as, you know, as pretty young, like 5. What you do is very basic, but there's a progression.
It was my idea to go, and I took care about everything, all the papers, everything, because I got from people who living, they have big notebook with the step by step what we do.
In the Soviet Union, there's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of documents that have to be created, a lot of people who have to be, you know, visited and gifts given.
Permission.
Lots, very complicated. none of this is explained or written down. And what happens is people who go through this process, they create it, they figure it out. And so there's a notebook.
There was notebook, somebody who left, leave it to me.
Yeah. And so he follows the notebook step by step, you know,
Yeah,
what has to happen.
very helpful, very helpful.
And when we left the book to someone else.
Somebody else. We left on the birthday of Lenin, but 22nd April.
I'm sure I was kind of wistful and sad, but I don't actually remember that for some reason. Like, I'm guessing that that's how I would be feeling, but I was also a little bit kind of curious and excited about this thing that was about to happen.
You don't know what life is going to bring you. I feel like the going through life with an open mind about a sense of adventure and about who you are allows you to experience things in a way that you would have never thought.
And I actually remember getting on the bus and driving away, and I remember like looking back a little bit. But once we left, it just became this amazing adventure.
So then we cross the shop and get to Czechoslovakia. And I did not feel certain that I'm leaving until I get out of Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia is Russia. They could get me anywhere in Czechoslovakia. And when we get to Austria, then I feel that's it. I'm out. It was very great moment. So we got to Austria and we live in Vienna for 10 days. And we were sitting in some kind of hotel until they took papers and then they give us a taxi and they bring us to apartment where we should live. Then we go for 3 months in Rome, Italy. Very, very nice. They pay us money, Jewish organization. They give us everything. They bring us to Rome. We live 3 months in Rome. They bring us to America, and they continue to help us when we go here, pay us for rent, give us some money until we teach us English, until we start to work, and then we start to pay back every month, very little, $20, $50. My wife, I love her very much, and my idea was that I want to keep her happy, always happy, never see her too much working. I want to save her for myself, that she would be very always отдохнувшая,
Rested.
happy, with her hands I love. And I didn't want her to do something that was my idea, and it was idea I brought through all my life till her death. The time when I was dating with her, I like her, and then we have one date, and after this, I disappear, thinking that if I go too often to her, she would think that I like her too much.
Вот уже видно.
2 weeks I disappear. And then when I call her, she says, where did you disappear? Why did you disappear? And it was so sincere and so I just was melted. I liked it so much, she didn't play with me. Just say what she think, what she felt. Цвели уж давно хризантемы в саду, а любовь в моем сердце больном.
Okay. Hope you all enjoyed that. I have like, when we made this movie, this was the finished product, which I just shared. And there are about 2 hours at least more of all the filming that we did that did not make this final cut. And so I just started after 5 years, I started looking at all of this other content, and it's pretty exciting because there's a lot of really amazing detail in there. So I'm probably going to be going through that for the next few weeks or a month, just to hear the additional detail. Okay, let me refer back to my schedule to make sure I don't forget something. Okay, I would like to read some, let me share my screen so you can all follow along. And I'm going to read some of my thoughts about my father. Okay. Can you all see what I'm sharing here?
Yes, it's in Russian, right?
No, it's in English.
Max, I want to ask, which year was shot this movie about Boris?
I'm sorry, say again?
When you finish shooting this movie about Boris, that we just saw, which year it was?
Oh, which year? Maybe 5 years ago, I think, 6 years ago, because Henry, my son, was about 1 year old, or maybe 6 months.
Just after your mother passed away?
Yeah, maybe a year afterwards.
Maybe a year after.
Макс, убери это стихотворение с экрана. Маленькие, сделай опять большой скрин.
Can you all see the English text on my screen right now, or are you still seeing the poem?
The poem.
Russian.
It's in Russian, Max. The screen is in Russian. The poem is in Russian.
You're in the wrong pen.
Hold on.
Вот так вот, much better. We can see each other.
I know that you can see each other, but I can't see what I'm supposed to read. That's my problem. So hold on. Let me. How about now? Can you see the English or still the Russian poem?
Yes.
That's English.
That's
Okay.
English.
Okay, good. Okay, here goes. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Я хозяин своей судьбы. Я капитан своей души. We learn how to be by observing those around us, in particular those that take care of us when we're young. I was fortunate to have a stable family and was shaped in significant part through this process. Papa often said that stability at home, покой, is the most important thing. I know that he was at times unsatisfied with this or that, who isn't after all, but he put that aside in order to create the conditions that he wanted. It was the way he was with my mother and our family. Shaping his reality was the way that Papa approached life. That same approach to life extended to himself. Papa had a capacity for figuring out what he wants and what needs to be done, and then doing it. He was very practical and matter of fact, believing in his ability to control his mindset and create a positive outlook. He was impressed by Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, reading it when we first came to America. He would smile at himself in the mirror and tell himself that he can do it, whatever it was. He never saw himself as a victim and actively shaped his reality. But really, he didn't need Dale Carnegie to understand this. As a child, he decided that he would know and love classical music. His own father sold tickets at the Opera Theater, Оперный театр, in Odessa after the war. Entry was free for him, so Papa would make himself go over and over, even when tired or busy. He didn't get it at first, but then he grew to know and love the music eventually. This was something he was very proud of, and this exemplifies his approach to life. The most profound example of this is, of course, bringing his family to America. Recognizing the dead end of Soviet life, he made the decision to leave, though nothing was certain and the risks were high. Papa organized and planned everything, managing last-minute crises like Mama's annual budget report at work, годовой отчет, right before our departure, mind you. And yes, Mama was in her own reality. and traveling to a distant kolkhoz to get sign-off for his work quota after our application to leave had been held up. Once in America and with Dale Carnegie's advice under his belt, Papa decided that unlike engineering, business was the real path to success. Business for Papa meant sales, direct sales, as in approaching strangers in a supermarket about insurance or home water filtration systems. He would strike up conversations with rehearsed openings in his heavily accented English and an "I can change your life" attitude. It was a real struggle for him, but he persisted over many years, never quite successfully. Resourcefulness, nachodchivость. One characteristic that enabled his outlook on life was Papa's resourcefulness. As a Jew in the USSR, you had to be resourceful, using what skills and opportunities you have. Papa sang on stage, told humorous stories, anekdoty, applied his artistic and sports skills, and anything else to get through the military service in the Soviet Army. One night, while in the Army, he was in the back of a Jeep driving through snowy fields in the middle of nowhere. Suddenly, the officer driving decided to pick someone up, so he ordered Papa to get out and to walk back. It was dark, below freezing, and difficult to walk in the snow. He had no idea where to go, and there were wolves prowling the fields. It was a difficult situation, to say the least, so he found a pit in the ground, wrapped his heavy coat, touloup, about him, and set about having a snack with some food that he always had with him. He then slept soundly, and in the morning, he walked back to his unit. It was this resourcefulness and positive outlook that made Papa comfortable in his own skin, to a fault, my mama would say. I remember when we first came to the US and got invited to some Americans' home. Perhaps it was the high holidays or Thanksgiving. We could hardly speak the language, the food was strange, and I felt like I was on display. It was a party, however, and there was a piano. And so embracing the moment, Papa found someone who could play so he could sing. Problem was that they didn't know the same songs, so they kept trying to work it out. It sounded terrible, with starts and stops and halting communications in Russian and English. I was embarrassed. I think Mama was embarrassed too. But Papa didn't seem to care at all, and everyone was smiling and laughing. Papa's impact on me. Any immigrant goes through a process of adjusting to their new home, some more successfully than others. I observed Papa learning English, getting an hourly job as a machinist, then a permanent work as a design engineer, buying a car, then a house, then another house, always striving to build our new lives, piece by piece. This is that learning from your parents that I mentioned earlier, and it shaped who I am. I have many seemingly random but poignant memories of Papa because I can now almost imagine myself in his shoes. I wish I could have appreciated these moments then, but I think we all need maturity and life's experience for that to be possible. Papa brought his spirit and outlook to help me face my own challenges as a child. He taught me chess, how to swim, how to ride a bike, and so much more. I saw him stand up to some big guy who wanted to beat up my brother Vadik, who'd been breaking bottles in the dumpster. I can only imagine what Papa went through, as he was not a confrontational or a violent person. As a child, going to the dentist frightened me. Dentistry in the Soviet Union was a traumatic experience. I would tell Papa I was scared, and he would calm me down and help me face the situation. The same went for keeping my legs in scalding mustard bath while he added boiling water to the mix, a traditional remedy for colds. In a joking way, I continued telling him I'm scared about this or that well into my adulthood. He never caught on that I was joking and would always respond in measured tones to explain what is what and to reassure me that it would all be okay. Another memory of Papa is coming to pick me up from sleepaway camp, Юный Романтик, when I was 8 or 9. It was early morning and I'd been sick the previous night, throwing up over the side of my top bunk bed. I remember watching him from my top bunk, bent over and cleaning up the mess without complaint, until his sunglasses slipped off his head, dropping with a splash into the vomit. I think I heard some complaining then. I decided in my 20s that jazz is cool and that I would love it. I made myself go to Berkeley jazz clubs, even when I was tired after studying, and I would sometimes fall asleep in the dark rooms. Of course, I now recognize Papa's influence with his own determination to love classical music. Becoming a father myself, Papa would often ask me if I talk to Henry, if he asks me questions, and what we talk about. That is what Papa did with me, teaching me about goals and how to work towards them, setting expectations, never telling me who to be, but teaching me how to become the person I want to be. When I think of what gives me joy at work and how I approach my relationships and my family, I see Papa's influence. In this way, Papa lives on in me, and through me, in Henry and in others in my life. I will continue reflecting on Papa's legacy to understand who I am and to guide me through what lies ahead. Okay. So, I think next on the agenda, we have some reflections on Papa from my brother, Edward, or Vadik.
Слышно?
Слышно.
А, уже слышно? Сейчас Макс там все исправит. Да. Значит, I want to apologize to people that don't speak Russian because I'm going to speak Russian during this segment. Окей. Значит, я никогда не скучал за папой, пока он не перешел в мир тонкий. И только сейчас я почувствовал, как мне его не хватает. Я часто гуляю в парке с собаками, разговариваю с папой, и с памяти встают далекие воспоминания из детства. Эти постоянные вызовы в школу за мое нехорошее поведение сделали папу завсегдатаем в школе номер 25. Он даже волонтировал свои инженерные навыки, чтобы где-то что-то починить, подмазать, подправить в качестве компенсации за мои выкидоны в школе. Однажды папа едва не спалил нашу 25-ю, пытаясь горячей смолой чего-то подлечить в нашем классе. Но в основном папа появлялся в школе, чтобы в очередной раз краснеть за меня и выслушивать моих возмущенных преподавателей. Да. Неудивительно, что папу в школе любили намного больше, чем меня. Летом в пионерских лагерях без папиного внимания тоже обойтись всем было трудно. И время от времени ему приходилось помогать мне и лагерному персоналу. Помню, как однажды, помогая персоналу и мне, тоже с помощью ремня от штанов за забором лагеря, папа даже подвергся жесткой критике озадаченных прохожих, ставших свидетелями этого действия. Они ему настойчиво советовали перестать бить ребенка. И я надеялся, что папа прислушается к их совету. Все закончилось очень цивильно, и меня не выгнали из пионерского лагеря трамвайщиков города-героя Одессы. Позже в пионерском лагере «Юный романтик» папин опыт воспитания тоже был высоко оценен. Переезд в Америку полностью был папиной инициативой. И, конечно, это в моих глазах просто монументальное упорство и огромный труд. Об ответственности я и не говорю вообще. Перевести всю семью на другой континент. Мне трудно оценить магнитуду этого, не побоюсь этого слова, до подвига. В общем, я понял, что до тебя, папа, мне еще очень далеко. 7 верст и все лесом, как говорят. Да и сам переезд был только началом. Впереди были годы и работы, учения языка и обустройства семьи. Помню, когда я встретил свою будущую жену, папа подтолкнул меня в объятия этой чудесной женщины. Подходило время создания семьи, но я очень боялся женитьбы. И папа разными способами убеждал меня и объяснял, что эта девочка лучшее, что может коснуться меня, и что недопустимо упустить этот шанс, этот подарок судьбы. как он говорил. До конца своих дней я буду благодарить папу за эту помощь. Да и сейчас слезы благодарности и любви иногда падают на этот листок бумаги. Я могу бесконечно извлекать из прошлого эти теплые чудесные моменты нашего с папой времени на земном плане. И я каждый день прошу Господа нашего Иисуса Христа, чтобы Он помог папе освоиться в надземном мире. Я молюсь, чтобы он смог вспомнить и использовать те крупицы знания, которые коснулись его на земле. Потому что новый этап жизни начинается для папы. И я очень хочу, чтобы помощь свыше достигла его там. До свидания, папа. Я всегда останусь в долгу перед тобой, и ты будешь в моем сердце вплоть до нашей очередной встречи. Спасибо всем, что послушали меня, и храни вас Господь.
Спасибо, Вадя. Okay. And now I'm going to read a poem. So Papa had a very old friend, Luda Glebova, that some of you may know. She was with him at the Technikum in the 1950s. It's like a vocational school for machinists and future engineers, I suppose, that some of the people on this call went through with them as well. And so Luda lives in Israel, and she could not join us today, but she wrote a poem for this occasion, and I would like to read it. So the poem I will read in Russian, so apologies in advance for my Russian speaking, but on the screen, you will also see the translation as best as I could do on the right. Can you all see what I'm sharing, the poem?
Yes.
Okay. Светлой памяти Бори. Боря, мой добрый, искренний друг. Из детства мы вышли в жизненный круг. По-разному сложилась наша судьба. Другими дорогами нас повела. Наша дружба тянулась 70 лет. Прошлое помним, детям завет. Преданность дружбы хранили всегда. Друга предать ты не мог никогда. Слушать, понять, поверить ты мог. Все мог простить. Не помочь ты б не смог. Твоя скромность и честность покоряли людей. Любовь и забота были в жизни твоей. Скорбь в сердце моем, с нею дальше мне жить. А пока я жива, Борю мне не забыть. Okay. So let me check really quickly if, let me unmute Sabrina. One second, I have to stop sharing for a moment and unmute. Hey, Sabrina, are you muted? Because I can't unmute you. Can you say something, Sabrina? I see your number 773, but I cannot unmute it. Hold on 1 second.
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep.
Okay, do we have
Nina, are you here? I think so. Nina, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Who's this?
This is going to be Nina.
Oh, let me conference her in again.
Okay. Let me, so Nina, Helen, was after my mother died, let me cancel this 1 second. After my mother passed away, Nina Alyoshina was my father's companion. They lived together for about 1.5 years, and she was also his caregiver at the very end. Okay, so she wrote something really beautiful that I only got last night, and she can't join the Zoom call right now because she's at work, but she could take a few minutes to try to read to us what she wrote.
And I think Nina's here with us now.
Yes.
Nina, can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Окей,
Okay.
Нина, здравствуйте. Пожалуйста,
Здравствуйте.
пожалуйста, мы вас слушаем.
Хорошо. Окей. Жаль, что приходится сейчас говорить о нем в прошедшем времени. Он был всегда хорошим другом, гостеприимным, внимательным, заботливым. Много знал, любил рассказывать о своей жизни в Одессе и в Америке. И судя по этим рассказам, жизнь его не была легкой. Но он никогда не жаловался ни на что. Может, покажется странным, и кто-то улыбнется, но он очень любил и ценил свою тещу. Она не раздражала его ни по какому поводу. Хотя, по его словам, была совсем не подарок. Он был очень благодарен ей за все. С каким-то особым теплом всегда вспоминал о ней. Безумно любил жену. Моя Ирочка, так он говорил всегда. Он сам ухаживал за ней, когда она болела. И очень болезненно переживал ее уход. Обожал детей. Рассказывал о них очень тепло и с большой любовью. Вадик, конечно, не помнит, как не спал ночами, не давал спать никому. И тогда Борис заворачивал его в одеяло, садился в трамвай и ездил по городу до тех пор, пока Вадик не засыпал. Максим часто болел, и много было проблем, врачи, больницы. Но с большой ответственностью Борис справлялся и с этим сам. Он стирал пеленки, вставал к ним ночью, а потом шел на работу. А дальше больше. Школа, родительские собрания, их шалости, успехи, и беды, и победы. Он все преодолевал сам и всегда был в курсе всех событий. И с большой любовью вспоминал, как радовался первому внуку, гулял с ним каждый день и был счастлив. Переживал за Макса, когда ждал появления второго внука. И очень радовался, когда он появился. И когда он рассказывал обо всем этом, у него светились глаза. Он всегда радовался. Радовался, когда купил кондо в Мишен Хиллз. И с восхищением показывал квартиру, вид с балкона. Его радовало все. Мы сидели на балконе, пили с ним чай. Он улыбался. Он был счастлив. Мы гуляли каждый день. Он всегда что-нибудь рассказывал. Его было слушать очень интересно. Он очень много знал. И про ту жизнь, и про это. И про путешествия, и вообще о своих чувствах. И всегда очень весело, с шутками и с улыбкой он рассказывал это. Видно было, что он всем доволен. А потом как-то сразу все изменилось. И мне пришлось стать свидетелем его увядания, его ухода. Без боли, без слез об этом вспоминать нельзя. И да это и не нужно сейчас. Хочу просто сказать, он тихо жил и тихо ушел. Только по его мимике можно было увидеть, как ему больно. Но он никогда не жаловался. А если спросишь его, где болит, что болит, он тихо говорил, не болит, ничего. Мог просто взять за руку, посмотреть в глаза и улыбнуться. Из последних сил сказать губами, don't worry. Послушно пил таблетки. И только один раз я видела слезы в его глазах. Он уже не мог говорить. Просто тихо плакал. О чем он думал в этот момент? Что он себе представлял? Это осталось в тайне. Это было только один раз за все время, как я его знаю. Женя сидел за телевизором, потому что он очень любил смотреть разные передачи о политике. А фильмы Жванецкого очень любил. Любил музыку, классику. Слушал песни своей молодости. Утесова, Шульженко, Бернеса. В последнее время ему очень нравилась песня в кинофильме «Оттепель». Он видел этот фильм И песня как-то запомнилась ему. И он часто повторял. Я думала, это весна, а это оттепель. Но только вместо слова оттепель он говорил, а это любовь. И всегда улыбался. И пусть в нашей памяти навсегда останется эта счастливая улыбка. Улыбка Бориса Михайловича Беренштейна. Светлая память о нем будет всегда жить в наших сердцах. Спасибо.
Спасибо вам большое, Нина.
Пожалуйста. Извините, мне тоже слезы на глазах. Хорошо.
Спасибо.
Всего доброго всем.
Всего доброго.
До свидания.
Okay. So next, because, like I said earlier, because we have so many people on the call, and you know, Boris had so many different people in his life, we thought it would be great for everybody to just say hello. If anybody wants to say something or share something, please do. Let me know. I have some of these pictures that people want to share, and so when the time comes, you know, just let me know and I will share them. So I'm going to go in order here. At the end, I have a list of all of the people who are here. So let's see, I have to unmute someone because I've had to mute some people. 1 second.
Okay, Max, before you do that, Vitaly mentioned that his parents were trying to also get on. I don't know if they have audio right now.
Okay, I don't see anybody in the waiting room, so I think everybody who's trying to get in is in.
No, my parents, they didn't get to hear anything, and they trying to figure out, but I don't think they were successful.
Okay, well, we are recording the session, and so I can, oh, here comes someone, Dima. Anyway, I think he's just joining. He's just connecting to audio. Dima, ты нас слышишь? Well, we'll get to him eventually. We're not there just yet. So let me just go down the list of people and let's see. So first of all, we'll start with Ilya and Dolly Kerman, who are friends from when we first came to America. Ilya, if you could say a few words, or Dolly, about when you met Boris, how you knew him, any reflections on what kind of person he was. Ilya, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you.
Я просил вчера на тренинге, если кто-то хочет выпить за Борю, чтобы налили.
Okay. Everybody who brought something to drink, please pull. Now is the time to pull it out.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let us pause. Can we pause for 1 minute so everybody can go and get what they need to get? 1 minute pause.
Я встречал Борю еще в Одессе. Мы занимались в одном техникуме, но разница у нас в годах была 4 года. Он, по-моему, заканчивал, а я только начинал. Это были 60-е годы, лихие, когда зарождался Жванецкий только в Одессе, когда начинался КВН. Мы были тогда в наших 20-х, 20-е, 25-е года, когда мы разговаривали с Борей уже здесь и вспоминали то время, он, мне помнится, любил ходить на танцы в одесские санатории. Это то, что у меня осталось в памяти от Одессы. В этом мире мы встретились, как ни странно, в Риме на круглом рынке. Была первая встреча. Сразу же узнали друг друга. У меня на левой руке на каждом пальце была пластмассовая буста с продуктами, а в правой руке была коробка с текущей клубникой. И это Иру очень рассмешило. Они вместе были. Куда вы едете? В Чикаго. И мы в Чикаго. Встретимся, у них уже были билеты. И вот мы поселились в Чикаго на одном квартале. Нас разделяло несколько домов. И первое, чему я обязан Боре, это тому, что благодаря ему я нашел свою первую работу. Как это получилось? Боря уже был, по-моему, месяцев 5-6, интенсивно искал работу, у него уже было резюме, а мы были недели 3 только, и он нашел работу на юге Чикаго, Харвей, Иллиной, далеко на границе с Индианой. И он должен был выйти на работу, а за день до этого он получил еще один оффер в walking distance от дома. И он мне говорит: поезжай, наберись экспириенса, как разговаривать по-английски, как говорить. Позвонил туда, извинился, сказал, что у меня есть товарищ. Я одел свой финский макинтош, который купили для представительства. Поехал туда, так я получил свою первую работу. 1,5 часа в один конец ехать без машины и назад столько же. Это был первый экспириенс. Второй, как Боря купил свою первую машину. Он очень гордился, это было Volvo. Когда я открыл, я был у него эксперт по машине, потому что у меня была еще в Одессе. Мы открыли эту самую driver side rubber, там этот подкладку, там была сквозная дырка, так что можно было ногами бежать по дороге. Он еле... Тогда машины стоили, по-моему, по $200, по 300. Что у меня в памяти еще осталось? Вот сидит Витя и Ася. Они жили на Джарвис, недалеко от озера. И у Вити какой-то сосед должен был переехать в Скоки. И вот у нас была первая халтура. Это было все, примерно 5-6 месяцев, как мы только появились. За $100 каждому мы перевезли всех. Я взял в рент громадный трак, и вот мы вот так вот заработали первые $100 в нашей халтуре. И начали внедряться в американскую жизнь. Я нашел, это было уже на 2-й год, что можно арендовать хаусбот на Миссисипи. Я организовал 3 семьи, наша семья, нас 4 человека, Боря с тетей Эмой. Если кто-то помнит Сандлер, Майю Сандлер или Майю Нитис с Давидом. Вот нас было 12 человек, 12 спальных мест, и мы 3 дня поплавали по Миссисипи. Это было off-season как раз. Мы могли себе это позволить уже. Буквально работая полгода или год где-то в Америке. Следующий степ, где я обязан Боре, это когда мы начали покупать наши дома. А он уже купил первый дом в Скоках. Мне надо было только стены, а остальное я бы сам все доделал. Моя жена нашла домик, она была очень пики, с хорошим бэк-ярдом, там заросший какой-то маленький бэк-ярд, но когда Боря и Ира увидели этот ярд, они сделали все, чтобы мы удрали, чтобы мы сорвались, мы уже дали оффер, и мы сорвались, и я очень ему за это благодарен. Третий инфлюенс, Boris in our family life is probably Dala will tell.
Окей. Во-первых, мы были довольно близкие друзья. тех пор, как мы приехали, и до тех пор, пока мы не уехали в Вашингтон. И я искала работу. Одну работу я нашла, а потом мне надоело там далеко ехать, и мы говорили о том, чтобы найти другую работу. Боря предложил меня на свою работу, хотя это было так же далеко, как я работала на первой работе. И вот благодаря ему я наконец-то получила инженерную. Да, я стала наконец-то инженером вместо чертовника, поскольку вы все знаете, как это было, когда мы приезжали. Мы не могли быть инженерами. Но вот этим мы очень обязаны. И вообще я хочу еще сказать, что Боря всегда был добрый, положительный, он никогда никому пакости не делал. Он был хорошим человеком.
Ну, а потом наши дети начали взрослеть, свадьбы. Боря с Ирой, они приехали сюда, в Беренштейн, на свадьбу моего старшего сына. Вот это мы отмечали. А потом мы сюда переехали, и я с ним начал разговаривать по скайпу. И вот, когда не стало Ирины, я почувствовал, что с ним тоже что-то стало не то. Он начал думать, как переехал. Он спрашивал меня, сколько стоит property у вас здесь. Он хотел каких-то перемен. Что-то он хотел не то. Мы его отговаривали, говорили, надо быть на старости лет рядом с детьми. Ну, вот так и получилось, он остался. Мы дали ему нашего риэлтора, который продал наш дом в Чикаго, он продал его дом, она. И последняя мемори у меня, я позвонил ему по скайпу, он ответил. Я смотрю, сидит мой Боря перед компьютером, completely naked. Что получилось? За компьютером было зеркало. Была жара в Чикаго. И я ему говорю, Боря, тебе что, жарко? Он разозлился, выключил скайп. И вот это было у меня последнее мемори. Последнее мемори. Давайте выпьем за Борю, за тех, кто перевалил 8-й десяток, чтобы у них была такая же долгая жизнь, как у Бори.
By the way, so that story, for those who couldn't follow in Russian, I'll just talk about one of the things that Ilya just said. So about 6 months after coming to America, he organized a boat trip on the Mississippi where we rented a houseboat. This is a big boat. I mean, I don't know, maybe 60 feet long, maybe? I don't remember. It was a big boat, you know.
He was Doug Holt, матрос на палубе. Я рулил этот бот.
And one of the things, and so I remember that well, it was amazing that, 6 months after coming to America, we rented a houseboat and we took it on the Mississippi on this trip. And my memory is that I and Dali and Ilya's son, Dima, decided to go fishing. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't catch anything. But Dima caught a fish. And I have a picture somewhere of him looking very proud and holding up a fish about maybe this big. And so Dima went on to move up to Washington, and he's now a captain of a fishing boat. So anyway, little memory that I have of that event.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Vitaly и Ася, вы можете представиться, say hello, but you have to take yourself off of mute. You have to unmute. We can't hear you until you unmute.
Can't hear you.
Unmute.
We will come back to you. If Alex is around, can you call your son and he'll...
I can talk now. Yeah?
Perfect.
Yeah? Okay. Мы познакомились с Ирочкой и Борей в Чикаго. Мы переехали из Джексонвилла, Флорида, куда мы приехали. Познакомились с Борей с Ирочкой. Замечательная пара, очень дружелюбные, очень приятные, гостеприимные. И, конечно, мы всегда вспоминаем поездку с ними по Канаде. Мы провели замечательно 2 недели вместе. И как трогательно Боря относился к Ирочке. Ирочка и Ирочка всегда. Они очень любили друг друга. И, конечно, когда Ирочка умерла, Боре было очень-очень тяжело. Был какой-то период, когда он нам стал звонить в Сан-Диего. Мы сейчас живем. И хотел переехать в Сан-Диего. Но, честно, я его где-то отговаривала, и Витя тоже, потому что мы говорили, что родители должны жить рядом с детьми, что в таком возрасте, как уже у нас, надо жить поближе к детям. И эту затею, эту идею он отбросил. Хочу напомнить, мне кажется, что я права. Я всегда поздравляла с днем рождения Ирочку и Борю. И мне кажется, что 4 декабря у Бори день рождения. И вот тогда опять мы будем вспоминать о нем и выпьем за его, ну как сказать, ну здоровье уже нельзя сказать, выпьем за вас, его дети, его внуки, память о нем, чтобы вы были счастливы, здоровы, удачливы, успешны, и чтобы все в вашей жизни было так, как вы себе желаете, и как ваши родители вам желали и хотели видеть вас, какими они хотели. Будьте здоровы, чтобы это ужасное время прошло, это болезнь, чтобы опять Америка стала той, в которую мы приехали. А вам, дорогие дети, внуки, вся его родня, все его родные и близкие. Илюша с Долей, очень приятно сегодня вас тоже видеть. Прошло столько лет, мы всегда вас всех вспоминаем. И Маю, и Давида, всех. Будьте все здоровы и счастливы.
Спасибо.
Спасибо большое.
Окей, Владимир Минков, вы еще с нами здесь? Вот вы, пожалуйста, скажите, представьтесь.
Минков.
Меня зовут Владимир Минков. Я живу в Чикаго. В Чикаго, рядом с Чикаго, недалеко от Бори. Мы познакомились с ним. Вы меня извините, я очень эмоционально отношусь ко всему. Мы познакомились с ним в 1979 году, когда мы начали вместе ходить в одни и те же еврейские организации, которые помогали нам войти в новую жизнь, которые помогали нам, то есть познать эту жизнь. Для нас это было очень важно, потому что мы приехали из Советского Союза с совершенно иными понятиями, что такое хорошо и что такое плохо. И мы очень хотели как можно быстрее забыть об этих понятиях и начать жить так, как живут здесь, по понятиям уже американским, что такое хорошо и что такое плохо. И что было интересно очень, для меня лично смотреть, как Боря это все делал. Знаете, многие из нас притворялись, так сказать, искусственно заставляли себя мыслить, думать о том, что, дескать, мы сами все знаем, и нам нечему учиться. В отличие от всех нас, Боря был абсолютно искренен и даже заострял свою эту искренность. Он всегда говорил: я ничего не знаю. И он говорил это специально, потому что чем больше он говорил: я ничего не знаю, тем больше нам объясняли, что это такое. А это он и хотел. Как можно больше объяснений в новой жизни, как надо здесь жить и сохранить себя евреем, как надо жить здесь и стать американцем, как надо жить здесь и постепенно, шаг за шагом отходить от того, чему мы научились там, в этом советском ГУЛАГе. И мне очень трудно дальше продолжить, но я хочу одну вещь сказать только. Я очень благодарен, Макс, тебе, потому что ты организовал все это настолько эмоционально и хорошо. На этом я кончаю просто. God bless you.
Спасибо, спасибо, Володя. Okay, Misha Mazur is an old friend. Well, I guess he'll tell us something about when he met. You have to unmute yourself, Misha. He'll tell us about when he met Boris. It's been a long time. Misha, you have to unmute yourself. Are you unmuted? There you go. Okay.
На родном языке, поскольку здесь большинство соотечественников. Наше знакомство длилось порядка 68 лет. Началось в 1952 году, когда в техникуме станкостроительном Боря поступил на год или на 2 раньше. В техникуме, ну, мы были в разных группах, поэтому близкого контакта не было. Но запомнилось на всю жизнь песни, которые он пел на сцене со своим сокурсником Кербель. И вот была такая дуэт Кербель и Беренштейн. Выходила к лавочке, посидеть на лавочке, показать подруженькам, сарафан нашел. Здесь есть мелодия, я не хочу воспроизводить, у меня нет музыкального голоса. А сосед их Васенька, сероглазый Васенька, взял да на лавочку, да тоже пришел. Места нет на лавочке, отвечает к лавочкам. Люди мы не гордые, можем постоять. И так далее, и так далее. Это было, значит, техникум. Потом, значит, ну, что я помню, что Боря был очень, не то что спортсменом, а спортивным, подвижным, любил движение и играл с пацанами в футбол там, на Черемушках, с мальчиками, которые моложе его, вот он вписывался в эту компанию. Помнится мне еще, что мы, Вадик, ты не был с папой в туристском походе? Был?
Да, мы ездили на Кавказ, я помню.
Вот. Вот там мы встретились. Я со своим сыном, он с тобой. По-моему, кто-то еще. Или вы вдвоем были?
Я помню, что он был там как шаперон для школы фехтования. И мы поехали туда на Северный Кавказ, и вот это было там.
Там была эта турбаза, на которой все встречались и расходились по своим маршрутам.
Да.
Вот это вспоминается. Вспоминается, как мы к нему пришли как-то с моей женой, тоже она уже ушла из жизни. И почему-то вот такое запоминается. Вот такое вот. Значит, картошка в мундирах с подсолнечным маслом и водочка в стопках. Почему-то это осталось в памяти. Да? Он к нам приходил. Мы вместе работали в Эскобарсе и еще где-то, по-моему, на механическом заводе. Работая в Эскобарсе, мы хотели большую зарплату. И решили, значит, там, по-моему, завод кислород-маш только открывался, что ли. И мы решили туда, значит, но завод реальных станков имел забор. На заборе были стекла, чтобы не могли перелезть. Через проходную нельзя было пропустить. Но мы как-то нашли там путь перелезть через забор и пошли туда вечером не вечером, а так, в рабочее время, но после обеда, искать работу. Но мы где-то встречались на продмаше. Вот у нас, но мы не устроились туда, ни он, ни я. Но где-то на продмаше мы встречались. Это то, что было там. Здесь мы созвонились. Он раньше приехал на 10 лет. Я 10 лет был в отказе. И тогда мы созвонились и периодически начали, значит, общаться. Потом с Максимом он как-то к нам приехал в Сан-Франциско. Ну, а дальше мы с ним переговаривались уже по таким финансовым вопросам. У него был финансист, который ему советовал, значит, куда вложить, что. И последний раз были разговоры о том, что он хочет переехать во Флориду. И это было, наверное, полгода назад, по-моему, где-то в марте, в апреле. И дальше, и потом я уже звонил, и что-то он не отвечал, и вот теперь вот так. Так что я за его память, кто хочет, присоединяйтесь. Молодец, Макс, он все это так здорово организовал. И папа был бы доволен, он даже не подозревал, какую ему честь окажут. Он был скромным человеком.
Спасибо. Okay, I don't think, do we have Fred Kanievsky with us, Nami? That was another friend who I thought might be here, but I don't think he is. So let's switch now to family, and maybe we can switch to English a little bit. Maybe Helen and Sang, if you guys could introduce yourselves and share any thoughts that you might want to.
All right. Helen and my husband Sang. We're in-laws to Boris. Sabrina's my daughter. And I met Boris and Irina in a very happy moment. My daughter and Max was getting married at the time. And when we met, I found him to be full of personality. It seemed like he loved an audience because Irina, Boris, Sang, and I went out to have coffee after rehearsal and whatever. And he proceeded to talk to us about his history. And my husband, who actually grew up in communist China, had similar backgrounds about being in the communistic country and whatever. But then he changed his tone after a while. He started to tell jokes. That was funny. So I saw his personality coming out because I think he was so sick of talking about that. And then, but the cutest part is that he's telling the jokes and his wife, Irina, must have heard it 1,000 times. And she went, like, it's the same joke over and over and over. But I think the cutest part is that we were also on a cruise together in South America. Not that we planned to be together, but we happened to be together and we coordinated and we talked about it. And what I remember the most about this cruise was there was a joke-a-thon, all right, where everyone participated. If you want to, similar to this, all right, he participated, my sister participated, who's here, her name is Rose. I chickened out, and I'm the one that probably would like to talk. But the cutest part is that, as I said, Boris likes an audience. He likes to tell jokes, and I could see why, because he took the Dale Carnegie course, or he bought the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because I also did that, but I took the whole course early on. So he got up and he was performing and telling his joke. His face was lighting up. And as I looked around, I saw blank faces because I guess his joke didn't click the way other people would have liked it. But there was a lot of other people that told jokes that didn't take. But my sister Rose, who's here, she's not going to tell the joke, but she won the top prize. And she actually had to go on stage again to retell the joke to everybody. And they gave her a recording of it. Maybe one day, if you get to meet her, she'll play that joke for her, or maybe she'll tell it in person. But that's what I think about Morris. He really loved life, and that the wedding. I knew he liked to dance, but I didn't know how much. So I did do a fast dance with him. You know, I don't think Irina danced. I don't remember. But I had to take my shoes off dancing with him because he just goes on and on and on and on. It was good. So I know this lighter side of Boris. And I mean, he's really a very nice man, and so is Irina. And I was actually had to have tissues when Max was talking about his dad. And Edward, I didn't understand you, but I'm sure I would have had the tissue. And Nina and some of them. I mean, I enjoyed that, knowing that background. So we would always remember Boris and Irina. And certainly I hope to get a copy of this that you're recording, Max.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. I want to say that my father was very bitter for losing that joke contest to an amateur.
Oh, he did?
And
All right.
Rose is no amateur.
Rosie, are you an amateur?
But she's an amateur. Good point.
an
The ringer. Okay. Hey, I know Vadik, Milana, Kyle. I know Vadik, you spoke earlier, but Milana and Kyle, can you say hello? Just wave so people know who you guys are.
Hi, Milana. Hi, Kyle.
Okay, so Kyle is that young man that we heard from Nina about, that my father was so excited about when he first came along.
I have one small story. I remember when we were going for walks and everything every day at our old townhouse. I don't remember the story necessarily, but I was told it a few times that when we went to walk to the park, Buddha wanted to teach me how to use the restroom outside. And he was very calm and patient with me. So he told me everything, what to do. And then I pointed it out and everything, and I started peeing all over his shoes, but he didn't move. He didn't do anything. He was just there, calm, letting me do my thing and everything, just to not make me worried or anything.
He didn't want you to have a negative experience. And
Yeah.
And by the way, he did spend every single day, no matter the weather, he would take Kyle out at 7 o'clock in the morning and have him back at 9 a.m. from the day he was born.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of walking.
Лора, конечно, нам очень тоже помогала. Лора это сестра папина.
Yep, Laura took over at 9 o'clock after.
Да, это было тоже каждодневный экспириенс, и мы очень за это благодарны тоже.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, I think Ira, are you on the call still? Hi, can you just say hello? This is Milana's sister, Irina.
Hi.
Wait, I can get unmuted.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Milana's sister.
And now we can't hear you. Can you try unmuting again?
This is it. Собака. Красавица. Собака, я вижу ее.
Okay. We can also come back to you. Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to unmute and the button is not working.
Yeah. Now we can hear you.
Okay, now. So, did you hear anything I said before or no?
Nothing.
Okay. All right, it was a good test. So Dada Boda, Dada Ira were always at our house for all the holidays, whichever holidays we did. And I have to take credit. They love my cooking. They love my hosting. And they were great, great guests. We always had a lot to talk about. And he, like you said earlier, somebody mentioned it, never, ever complain about anything. Very sweet guy. And Dada Ira was wonderful. And they'll always stay in our hearts.
Thank you. Hey, do we still have Frida with us on the call?
Yeah, hi. I am the mother of Milana and Irina. So those two girls. Oh, and now they are saying hi. We always was together, and very, very often Irina and Boris was our guests, and we always enjoyed them, have a good time, and we'll always remember both of them. They are in our hearts.
Thank you.
Спасибо.
And Sabrina, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself? There's Sabrina.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm married to Max. We have our son, Henry, who's going to be 6. So obviously I've known Boris and Irene for a long time, well over 15 years. And I'm thankful to have had the opportunity to see him and be with him over the summer. You know, even during the pandemic, nothing can stop us from getting up to see him and to share some of the final months with him. You know, Nina reflected on the fact that he was always smiling. And one of the things that I remember about Boris is he always had a twinkle in his eye about a variety of things, whether it was, you know, listening to music or thinking about Irene or thinking about the grandkids. But he just always had this spark. And I think I saw some of that when Max, Edward, Nita, and I took Boris out to the beach. So over the summer, I think it was in July, we took him into Highland Park Beach. And it was just this moment where, you know, the sun was shining, the wind was in his hair, you know, you can smell the lake. And then we decided to order a pizza. And we had soda. And the look on his face, like this elation and this pure joy, was priceless. It was, I can't really describe it, but it made me quite reflective. You know, like he was having this moment of pure joy through all of the health issues that he was having. And so I think I was glad to have been part of that, you know, bringing that moment to him and having that moment. I will tell you that he ate his slice of pizza and drank his Coca-Cola within like 3 minutes. And he just looked like it was sheer bliss on his face. So he will definitely be missed. And it was by far one of my favorite moments with him.
Thank you. Yeah, for me as well, like getting him out, like after he couldn't even walk anymore. And there he was having pizza and drinking Coke at the beach. Same beach, by the way, that he would take Kyle to. Or I think same beach, almost the same beach. Thank you. Wow. And then Derek and Alice, do you want to say hello and wave to everyone?
Hi, Max. Thank you very much. I'm Derek. I'm Max's brother-in-law, Sabrina's brother. I'm actually here with my family, Alice, and my 2 kids, Christopher and Samantha. I tell you what, after listening for, you know, the last hour or 2, it seems like Boris has touched many lives. I remember when we first met Boris, which was right before Sabrina's wedding. He was a very vibrant individual who loved telling stories, and I could actually see that he touched a lot of people's hearts throughout the years. So he'll be very well missed. Thanks, Max.
Thank you.
Derek.
Okay, and Rose, do you want to say hello and wave to everyone?
Maybe tell the joke.
You still got the joke.
I'm Sabrina's aunt, Helen's sister, as you know. And like Derek, I met Boris and Irina the day before Sabrina and Max's wedding. And based on what Max said about his dad today and what I could read in Nina's script, since I don't understand Russian, I could see that he was very well loved and thought of. And I do remember when I did hear Boris speaking about his life coming from Russia and how he knew instantly how he loved Irina the moment he saw her. And they spent many, many happy years together. I thought, oh, what a lucky couple they are. Now, if I understood what Ed was saying, I'm sure he would have said the same thing. today I really regret not having, not understanding Russian and not speaking Russian. And all I could say in Russia is, "Я рада вас видеть." But Boris and Irina were a lovely couple. And I unfortunately did not have the good fortune to know them better. But the little that I do know of them, I thought they were a lovely couple. And as far as my sister telling you that I would tell you the joke, I think it would get lost in translation. See, I think that's what happened with Boris. I think he was trying to translate a Russian joke into English, since his cruise mainly had English-speaking people. And I sympathize with Boris, because this is a true story. When I was in China, someone told me to tell a joke. Of course, I told it in English, because English is my first language, even though I look Chinese. All the Americans on the cruise ship understood it. The people that were in China said to me, "What's the punchline?" So.
Was it the same joke?
It could have been, Helen.
Was it the Santa joke?
No, I don't think it was the Santa joke. It was the Acme supermarket joke.
Oh, I don't.
Yes, it was not the Santa joke, right?
I didn't hear that one.
I think Boris would be very happy to hear this, Rose.
Are you serious? It might get lost in
Always
translation.
felt underappreciated, you know, delivering his jokes to an American audience. So, you know.
Well, I think you'll have to translate it into Russian so it doesn't get lost in the translation.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
До свидания.
Dima Koshkin and Laura, do you want to say hello? There's a picture, by the way, that Yulia sent, which I'm going to put up in a minute. But tell me, Dima, do you want to talk first, or do you want Laura to talk first, or say hello?
I will talk. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Not everyone know. We were living in Odessa, in distance like 40 minutes by bus or tram, and we often were in each one house, and I would think every New Year we are celebrating together with Boris, Max, in Grandma Vadik. And Boris always came to us, to our home. And Boris lived in new development area named Cheremushki. And I live like in kind of old town. And Boris always came to us, and he was very smart and brilliant. And he understands that he need to go to America very early, while I was still under pressure of Russian propaganda. And when he was almost leaving to America or to Italy first, he asked, "Dima, do you want to go to America or not?" And I was studying in graduated college at this time. And I said, "Yeah, Boris, I would go to America, but first America should become a socialist country." He was smiling like a lot at this moment. And he remembers this up to like our meeting. He always asked me, "Oh, do you like to live in a socialist country?"
Mm-hmm.
And remembering other things, Boris always helped us while we were in Ukraine, and he was already here. He sent us money, which helped to live there.
And he hosted us. He did for us like for your mom and dad.
Sorry?
No, I just had to mute someone.
Okay, okay. And here is America. He always was positive to me, and I love him, and he was my like best friend here. So I missed him a lot.
Thank you.
Do you want to say something?
Is,
Okay, that's all. Laura is listening, but she is not ready to say something.
Okay, so just so people know, this photograph that Yulia sent me, Yulia is Dima's daughter. She'll say hello in a minute. She sent me this photo just last night, which is amazing. This is my father and his sister Laura. They're twins.
Oh, his sister. Oh, I thought that was.
And I don't know. I'm guessing this would be somewhere in the 40s, maybe late 40s. Estimating. I don't know. He looks about 18, I suppose.
Max, you can add that they were twins, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're twins. Anyway, I just saw this photograph and it's really amazing, and I really like it because I don't think I've seen this. It's possibly the youngest photograph I have of my father at the youngest age. So thank you, Yulia, for sending that.
A beautiful picture.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a very good-looking man.
Indeed. Okay, Yulia, if you want to say hello, just let me stop.
Слышно меня?
Да, we can hear you.
Окей, всем привет. Я Борина внучка, и, кажется, единственная, я сейчас так поняла. Боря уехала из Одессы до моего рождения, и познакомились мы уже с ним в Чикаго. Как я Борю помню, всегда в хорошем настроении, всегда улыбающийся. И он всегда говорил, если чего-то хочешь, надо делать. И предлагал варианты. У тебя проблема? Давай будем решать. Первое, второе, третье. В общем, его позиция была добиваться того, чего хочется, не складывать руки, идти вперед. И я его помню как человека, который очень любил жизнь. Он до последнего, я бы сказала, брал от жизни абсолютно все, что мог. Поэтому он является хорошим примером для подражания. За Борю, за его память.
Спасибо.
С удовольствием.
Yulia, is your brother on? I think he was on earlier, but he might have had to.
He was on earlier.
He dropped off, right? So there's another son.
He might have, yes.
So Dima has a son, Yuri, who had to drop off earlier. So let me switch to the other side of the family. Sana, Toля, Laura, we have, if you can say hello.
Hello. Hello, guys.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Sana. I am Irene's niece, but honestly, I mean, because I really knew both of them all my life, to me, she was my aunt and Boris was my uncle. I mean, it didn't matter that it was by marriage because, again, I remember all of them, both of them from my childhood. And everybody was talking about how great Boris was, you know, in Odessa as a father. But I do have to say, in reality, he often was mother and father because Irочka, Irene, I mean, she was a, you know, great mother and daughter and wife. She also really loved her job. She really loved her job, and she was working very late and often Saturday and Sunday. So Boris kind of took over. I mean, he was dealing with all family issues and with both kids and with Vadik. Yeah, and Vadik was telling, Vadik was not a present. how we said, not a present at all. And Boria was always, well, because, you know, Max, you're kind of, you were a different child. But Vadik, yeah, and Boris, he was so patient. And yes, all parents teachers conference, it was for Boris, not for Irene. And well, anyway, again, remember them with fond memory. Of course, only now when we are adults, we kind of really appreciate how they were when we were kids. And also, just to remember, when we came to America, Irene and Boris, they sponsored us, which means they signed affidavits for us to come to Chicago. So they took responsibility for us. And I will always remember how they all, kind of the whole family, including Milechka, how they all came on a car, you know, to meet us at airport. And they brought us to their house in Glenview. We lived there, I believe, few weeks until they rented apartment for us in Chicago. And again, of course, they helped us like with all things, how to do, where to go, where to fill out paperwork. I remember sitting in the kitchen, filling out paperwork for social security number. And well, again, even actually when we only came to Chicago, I was, how old I was? Like a 30-something.
Young.
Yeah, and they both say, okay, come on, could you please stop calling us aunt and uncle? Just tell us you. I mean, it's not possible to explain in English, but there is a difference how you call. There is you, T, and you, V. It's like a more familiar way of saying it, and like how you call with people that you really respect. So again, with great fondness and love, both Ira and Borya, and his great smile, so easy smile. You know, Laura has the same smile as their twins, but he always smiled. Well, again, we will always remember both of them. Okay, that's all that I want to say.
Thank you.
Спасибо.
Спасибо. Thank you. Flora, do you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Flora. I'm Sana and Anatoly's daughter, and I was also there when your parents sponsored us, and I was so grateful. It was such an adventure, like my first time on a plane, my first time in the U.S. And I know your father really loved soccer. He was very athletic, and I used to be just quite a chubby little girl. And I remember he would try to get me to play soccer with him, and I would be so out of breath from just like a little bit. And I just thought to myself, how is this older man so fit and he's so good at soccer? But he would just like play circles around me, and I was just very, very impressed. I said, I hope to be that fit when I'm his age. So I really loved his zest and his vigor for how he, you know, lived his life, and he was very kind and generous and enthusiastic, and he really made the most of his days.
Thank you. You know, something funny is when I first started thinking about having this remembrance, and what I was saying earlier about Boris's last act to bring people together. So I called up Flora, or I don't remember how we started talking, and she told me about coming when they came to America, and apparently I was even there at the airport, which I don't remember at all. I think I must have been away at college right afterwards, because I don't remember living in the house with them, but it was such a nice thing to discover. I had no idea, and so that was nice to come across that information. Okay, Boris Tenenbaum, can you say hello, please?
Hello. I would like to just say something about Boris.
Hey, Boris, can you try to get closer to the microphone? You're very quiet.
Not quite. I just in difficult position because so many people said so many great things about Boris that it's not easy to find something that hasn't been said. And I think one mention should be made, at least, that Boris has taken care of his wife, Irene, in her last years of her life, devoutly. That was such an amazing thing. He was completely devoted to what needed to be done, because she was in very distressed situation, and she was quietly, day after day after day, he was taking care of her, and it was just amazing. I remember once we persuaded both of them to come to our house, just to get out of their house and meet us and Sanas with Tola. And we've seen how he is looking for everything to help her out, to make her comfortable, to ease her pain. It was just heart-wrenching thing. And we will remember both of them with great love and remember them forever.
Okay, thank you.
I just add a couple of words.
Please.
I am Jane, Boris's wife. I came into the picture a little bit later, so I don't know Boris and Irina as much as many of you do. However, listening to all of you talk about them, I have a picture, a totally different picture, not different, but a deeper picture of them. I always knew that they're kind, nice, hospitable people. I knew that they're intelligent and with their own opinions, and just very, very friendly people. But today I also learned that Boris was a great father, a role model father, that he was a great husband, a role model husband, that he was a great friend to many. And he was just a great person. So may he rest in peace. And we will remember him and just maybe tell stories to our kids and grandkids about him. And Max and Sabrina, thank you so much for arranging this beautiful memorial. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. I think so. Hey, Mark Babson. Maybe can you just say hello? If you have.
Am I?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can hear me? Maybe you can't see me.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've been I'm sorry. I've had two little ones that are trying to ski for the first time and then go to the bathroom and all those things. But catching a lot of the English stuff, and yeah, it's a testament to Boris that so many people loved him and were touched by him and moved by him. And I look forward to hearing the Russian parts from Max later. And you know, Boris, I would mostly just see him on Miller Drive when Max and I would kind of dart in and out off to some adventure in college or after. And he'd always greet me with a big smile and want to talk politics. He'd want to argue about the conservative stuff versus the liberal, but I would steer clear. And yeah, it was just always very friendly and wanting to make me feel welcome, even though the stays were short on Miller Drive. And I think he appreciated my friendship with Max, and I appreciated that he appreciated it. So yeah, thank you for all having me on this call, and I look forward to hearing it all in English later.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Hey, I have a question. So this is a little embarrassing, but there's somebody on the call that I haven't met before, and I don't know. Sergey, can you say hello and introduce yourself, maybe?
Сергей, я тоже не уверен.
Это мои родители. Из Одессы.
Виталика родители.
Нет.
Мои, мама.
Родители. Ее мама и папа. Мама.
Юлины родители. Нет.
Юлины, Юрины.
и Юра.
Ага, понятно. Здравствуйте. Вы из Одессы с нами контактите?
Да, да, конечно.
Wow. Okay. We have some people joining the call from Odessa, the Ukraine. Cool. Okay. Yulia, is that what you wanted to say? I got a message from Sabrina that you wanted to say something at the end. Is that it?
Мама, ты хочешь это сказать?
Да, я могла бы сказать
Давай.
что-то.
А я после тебя.
Мы с Борей увиделись, наверное, где-то в 2007 или 2008 году. Они с Ирой приезжали в Одессу впервые за все годы. Мы с Юрой их провели на кладбище, они не помнили уже, где могилы родителей Бориных. А потом мы встретились на Юлиной свадьбе в 2009 году. Были у них в гостях, они нас очень тепло принимали. И Ира, и Боря, и самые лучшие воспоминания о них. Каждый мой приезд, Юра обязательно вез меня к Боре в гости. Только в прошлом году, к сожалению, мы не увиделись.
Okay.
Воспоминания очень золотой человек, очень тепло к нам относился. Самое лучшее воспоминание Юля огорошила известием, конечно, очень, что Бори не стало. Будем помнить его.
За Борю.
За Борю.
За Борю.
Все вспоминали Борю и его чувство юмора. И мне вспомнилась история, ну, не совсем история, когда Боря поменял мое отношение к похоронам. Мы были на похоронах у Иры. И обычно, ну, что думают, что люди очень и sad, и переживают, и расстроены. Но Боря вел себя совсем по-другому. Он очень много всего вспоминал об их отношениях и очень много шутил на похоронах своей супруги. И последнюю шутку, которую он сказал, просто отпечаталась в моей памяти, когда он сказал, что да, Ира любила очень свою работу, она была хорошей мамой, я ее очень любил. И самое главное, у Иры никогда не болела для меня голова. И после этого я поняла, что Боря ценил ее больше всех. Поэтому Боря действительно был большим юмористом. Это то, что я хотела рассказать.
Прекрасным человеком.
Да.
Очень теплым.
Okay. Did I get everybody on the call? Has everybody said hello? Okay. All right. So we have one last montage that Milana put together. So let me play that. And it's this. Can you all see what's on the screen right now?
Yep. У нас нет такой фотографии.
Я скажу.
В одном театре мы.
Напоследок я скажу. Прощай, любить не обязуйся. С ума схожу или восхожу к высокой степени безумства. Как ты люби, ты пригуби погибели. Не в этом дело, как ты любил, ты погубил, но погубил так неумело, так напоследок я скажу. Работу малую висок еще вершит, но пали руки и стайкою наискосок уходят запахи и звуки, а напоследок я скажу прощай, любить не обязуйся, с ума схожу или восхожу к высокой степени безумства, а напоследок я скажу. Напоследок я скажу. А напоследок я скажу: прощай, любить не обязуйся, с ума схожу или восхожу к высокой степени безумства. Как ты любил, ты пригубил погибели, не в этом дело. Как ты любил, ты погубил, но погубил так неумело. Так напоследок я скажу. Работу малую висок еще вершит, но пали руки и стайкою наискосок уходят запахи и звуки, а напоследок я скажу прощай, любить не обязуйся, с ума схожу или восхожу к высокой степени безумства, а напоследок я скажу.
Okay. So thank you everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. It's been a great, it's great to see so many different people join from so many different parts of Boris's life. It's really wonderful to see. And like I said earlier, I feel like his legacy lives on as with anyone who touched so many people. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Max, for putting this together.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
До свидания.
До свидания.
До
свидания всем.
Thank you.
Спасибо всем.
Спасибо
Okay.
всем.
Thank you.
Bye.
This is good.